Okay, we've came quite a long way, but what I'm going to do now is start working a little bit of an environment for our scene. So to do this, I'm going to take this area here, which is our plane, and I'm going to basically build an environment around this, just so that we can get some interesting lighting and a few other nice things in here. Okay, so it's nothing complicated that I'm going to create. So I'm just going to start with a plane. Let's pull it corner to corner. I notice my plane is not getting made to exist, so let me have a look in my layers. Yep, it's producing it in a hidden one. So I'm going to produce it over here in my default instead, which is unhidden obviously. There we go. And convert to editable poly. Now the primary purpose of this damn thing is just to be an environment. So we're going to call this env01 windowed. And I'm going to convert to editable poly where it already is. I'm going to isolate the selection though. And this will give me plenty of space to work on. Grab all these, just this border, hold shift and just scale it out a little bit. There we go. Right, top viewport and zoom. Now I'm going to grab these. Just grab them two at a time and scale them in. No, better do them one at a time actually. That's one. That's another one. Wait for autosave. Do it again. And this one. There we go. And here. Okay, just to straighten those out a little bit. Now they're straighter again. Next, I'm going to select by border, control select by polygon. And now I can do some extruding. And undo that, and now if I go to my spinner, I can adjust my spinner to make it do this the way I want. A bit of height on here. And click OK. And then slightly shorter again. OK. Next, delete this part, and this will leave a shell. I can now get rid of this outer part. Okay, so there's the view from camera 1. Which is obviously slightly inside this. That's okay though. What I'll do is I'll take out some of these. Now let's have a look. That's slightly better. Okay, this gives me some room to do a little bit of work on this. What I'm going to do is inset these by polygon. And then I can scale them individually. I like the way I said that. It's individually. Okay, start with a little bevel. There we go. And that opens those shapes there out. It's nothing complicated, it's just some shapes. Now I'm going to do this one. And delete that part too. Okay, now if we exit isolation mode, drop into camera mode. There we go, we can now see that he kind of starts here and makes his way over to there. So now we need a simple texture just to go onto here. Just isolate this selection again. Just going to select here, here, and here. Do a loop. Control select by polygon. Then grow it a little. There we go. Right, jump into our material editor. And go up here, find a nice new material. And I'm just going to pick something standard out, maybe just an architecture and design one. Or, here we are, pro materials, maybe just a concrete. Okay, and for this I'll have a nice light concrete. There we are. And I'll just apply that to this part here. Okay, next, if I do a Control I, that selects all the other bits, and over here I'll do maybe a slightly darker variation, who knows. Could just stick an architecture and design on here, I suppose. Polished concrete, that sounds fun. And maybe on the higher ones, I'll do a slightly different kind of concrete. One there. And one there. And let's see, another arch and design perhaps. Polished concrete, so it'll look the same as this one. But let's change the colour in this, which I can do just by adjusting the output values. There we are. And then apply it to the higher up areas. Okay. Now next I'm going to do a UVW. And I'm just going to do a simple one, so just box map it. That's kind of the simplest kind of mapping you can do. Okay, and with that, what I'm going to do is drop into my materials, make sure I can see what these are doing. I think rather than using the Pro Materials concrete, I'll probably just use an arch and design it again. And in this one, I'll use something like a, I don't know, let's see. Could use some masonry, I suppose. Don't really want to. Rough concrete? Nah. Don't want metal either. Here we go, I'll just have a matte finish in a fairly light colour. So I'll just change the alpha on this a little bit. Not the alpha, the output on this a little bit. There we go. Gives it a much more rough look. Just click that. Then hit F4, and now we can see it all kind of came together quite nicely. Do a quick render, which won't take very long. There we go, that didn't take too long at all. Okay, that's fine. Right. Last thing I need to do really is just kind of cut out the floor here. So I'll just grow it and delete. There we go. And now if I exit isolation mode and switch back to camera 1, I'm just going to check this in my top viewport. Okay, that looks fine. I'll just bring it just a little bit out probably. So I'm just going to increase the size of this just using the scale tool. There we are. As long as it's a uniform scale, it doesn't really matter too much, so we'll be okay. Check camera 2. Camera 2 is fine. Alright, so we've got something basic here that we can set some light up on. So in the next part I'll put our lights in.